Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is a news video. We've got news and I don't want to really tell you this news, but I'm going to have to because it's big and it involves a certain Ben Chilwell. We're going to get to that, plus other bits of info that's popped up that I want to give my views on, but before that I want to let you know where you can get your latest, where you can get all of your news and your updates, as well as that on a match day, your scores, your live results, your team news, whatever it is, your statistics, it's all in the One Football app. Link in the description. Make sure you hit that link now for all of your footballing affairs, including if you are based in the UK and Ireland, you can get access to Italian Serie A, get to stream one Italian Serie A match per match day, as well as that you have access to all Italian Serie A highlights. So make sure you hit that link in the description now, download the One Football app and enjoy. And on there you will see the latest to do with Ben Chilwell. Now, yesterday, Chelsea played Dynamo Zagreb. I gave you my review. I'll give you my thoughts. If you haven't watched it, click this now over here. And, well, not now. After you're done with this, head over to the review if you haven't already and watch it there. But Chelsea beat Dynamo Zagreb 2-1. In the midst of that, we had all sorts of injury concerns. It looks like Denis Zakaria is okay. So there's not much of an issue there because he did limp off, but he's okay. And looking forward to the next mission, as he alluded to. So is that going to be Arsenal? Does Denis Zakaria play against Arsenal? That's a debate in itself. I'm going to entertain that for you guys on the preview coming on Saturday for Chelsea versus Arsenal. So make sure you guys are here for that. That game, by the way, so nervous. Anyway, and on top of that, Aspie, he picked up something which looked a little weird. Did anyone else pick up an injury? I think there was. I think I'm missing someone. I can't believe it. I think, oh yeah, Koulibaly. Koulibaly had to be taken off but around minute 65 or so for Thiago Silva as a precaution. I do think he's okay though, so not much to worry about there. But Ben Chilwell. I'm going to just cut straight to the chase. His World Cup is not just... His World Cup is over, but it's not just that, right? A lot of people were hoping that, he'd be ready for the World Cup. The World Cup is under 3 weeks away. Maybe he'll make it. There is no chance. No chance. He needs a miracle in and itself for his hamstring to magically heal in time for the World Cup. It's not happening. So as much as I want to just end it there and just be like, yeah, he's just missing the World Cup, it's worse. It's worse. Or it seems like it's going to be worse. So let's get into the nitty gritty. I ain't said that in a while. Here's the latest on Ben Chilwell. Starting off with Matt Law, saying Chelsea still waiting on scan confirmation, but there are real fears that Ben Chilwell's hamstring injury is serious and could keep him out for longer than just the World Cup. And this is being supported, or this view is supported by someone that I really want to let you guys know about. If you're on Twitter, I was once upon a time, and I get some info there to share with you, but I'm not exactly logged in. I can still access all the tweets, so it's okay. I don't need Twitter. It's a horrible place. But for certain bits of info, it's good. And this is one account that if you are on Twitter, I will advise follow. I've got no connection with the guy, but his information is really valuable. And I'll tell you who it is. It's this guy. And this is what he's saying about Ben Chilwell. He has a very good track record talking about football injuries, players that have picked up injury, and even pre-results of whatever scan or whatever, diagnosis. Just by looking at movement, just by looking at whether it's a tackle or whether it's a pull or whether it's a weird movement or whatever, this doctor is able to have an idea just by body language, just by looking at how the player's fallen, how much pain, immediate analysis from the club, just without a scan or without actually trying to check, but just overall from the eye, trying to see what they think it is. He's got good experience. This is the account, and this is what he's saying about Ben Chilwell. Check it out. This is Dr. Rajpal Brar, DPT, at 3CB Performance. So I do suggest you follow him. That's his account. He's a doctor, physical therapy, fitness and movement coach, mindfulness, sports scientist, has a YouTube channel, and he has given his thoughts, saying Ben Chilwell's diagnosis still to be determined, but potential fears of a grade 3 tear. That was my initial thought, seeing how his gait was so affected, no weight on it, and on crutches leaving the match. If so, that's typically 8 to 12 weeks out, depending on if surgery is needed. And I told you guys after the game ended that the way that he fell and the way that he couldn't even put any weight on it made me think, oh, maybe it's his ACL again. Even though he was holding onto his hamstring, but I just thought maybe it's just too low for him to reach down all the way to his knee. I don't know. But I did say if it's a hamstring, it's a bloody bad one. Because we've all seen hamstring injuries, right? A player can still walk off the pitch. If you've just pulled your hamstring, you can still walk off the pitch. He could not walk at all. Not just that, he could not put any weight on that foot. That tells you that any weight that you put on your leg, do it to yourself right now. Stand up and hold your hamstring and put your weight on there. What do you feel? You feel your entire hamstring tense up. If he can't take that, that means the muscle shattered. There's nothing to hold the leg, which is why I initially thought if he can't put any weight on there, this is bad. This is really bad. And we know for a hamstring tear, for a pull, a normal pull, it can be 3-4 weeks. Immediately out of the World Cup. Immediately. And even then, if it's not that bad, maybe 2-3 weeks. But if you've ripped it completely to shreds, it's going to be 8 to 12 weeks. And that means not just the World Cup, but post-World Cup, we're looking possibly 3 months out for Ben Chilwell. So, again, that's another one added to the list. Ben Chilwell is out for that long, and we'll get confirmation soon enough. I hope there's no surgery needed, because if surgery is needed, it will be 4 months. N'Golo Kante is an example of someone that needed a hamstring injury. He's out for 4 months, or since the announcement, it was 4 months, so we don't want that. I just hope that maybe it's 8 weeks, tops, 2 months, post-World Cup, managers to come back pretty soon, and then we can keep going again. Because at that point, it's only England that will be missing out, not really Chelsea. So we'll wait and see what happens. When we get the confirmation, we'll be able to know. But yeah, very, very sad time for Ben Chilwell, because he had that big injury, manages to go through entire rehab process for so long just to get weight back on his foot again, just to start playing again, start walking, start running, start doing the basics, start getting back up to match fitness. He comes back, and then boom, he's shattered again. It's very, very unfortunate. And it's mad because it's always the wing back. Reece James, Chilwell, always them two. Second season in a row, both of them out at the same time. It's ridiculous. Who's cursed us? Who has cursed us? We might need to hire, I don't know, an imam or an exorcist, or I don't know, at this rate, we might have something on the club. Who knows? Anyway, let's get cracking into Ben Jacobs' information about the World Cup, and on top of that, his little mention about Ben Chilwell. This relates because of players getting injured. You can see the amount of players getting injured now. I saw a couple of days ago, the total amount of players that are meant to be going to the World Cup for all the 32 teams that will not be going has totaled up to 20. Ben Chilwell, I think, is number 21. Timo Werner yesterday, I think, is 22. Because Timo Werner has now been ruled out of the World Cup because he picked up an injury. There's so many players getting injured at this time. It's ridiculous. And it's so ironic that it's right before the World Cup. The season in itself is busy. We haven't gone to the World Cup yet. I expect tons of injuries post-World Cup. After all these players come back from the World Cup immediately and start cracking onto their seasons again, I expect tons of injuries, because the World Cup in itself is going to be so intense. You can't not give everything for your country. Then they're going to come back for a heavy schedule, especially for the Christmas schedule. It's going to be crazy. So I expect injuries then. We're already seeing so many now. And it tells you maybe there's too many games. There's too many games and they got a World Cup to go to. Don't be surprised if at the World Cup you start seeing players just popping left, right and centre. Do not be surprised. But this is what Ben Jacobs has brought to our attention in the light of many managers that are worried about their players getting injured. The international ones, that is. Here it is. Ben Jacobs tells us, told it's not just Argentina requesting, unsuccessfully, that Premier League clubs rest stars for the final round of fixtures before the World Cup. Luis Enrique has also spoken to some managers. La Liga finishes earlier, November 10th, but the Premier League couldn't do a final round of midweek games due to the EFL Cup. Also goes on to say, managers aren't providing any guarantees. Players are worried, though, knowing one even relatively minor knock could end their World Cup clubs don't have to release players until November 14th. It'll be interesting to see, with players likely rested for the EFL Cup, how strong the 11s are, especially in a key game like Newcastle versus Chelsea. Also, no confirmation yet from Chelsea on the severity of Ben Chilwell's hamstring injury, but England camp have been told to fear the worst, which we already seem to know. It's not looking good for Ben Chilwell. It's not looking good for England. I think Gareth Southgate's going to have to already plan with life without Ben Chilwell. Simple as that. Chilwell will not be going to the World Cup. I feel for the guy, and my thoughts go out to him. And you don't want someone to not go to the World Cup when they have an opportunity to. And as I've said, there's so many players that are not going. But this request by the international managers, I can't blame them. Especially when we've got one round of EFL football, the League Cup. As I've said already, we've got Arsenal on Sunday, then midweek we've got Man City, right? And then we've got Newcastle away. We're already in a bit of a tight spot. We lost points to Brentford. We lost points to Man United. We got smashed by Brighton. We've got to play Arsenal. We've got Man City in the Cup. And then we've got Newcastle, and then we go to the World Cup. It's ridiculous, right? But why? I could live without having to play Man City in the EFL Cup. Why was that not left till afterwards? And I can understand maybe why it wasn't left, because that's one round. The EFL Cup finishes in February. I mean, just move it forward. Let it coincide with the FA Cup and the end of the season, maybe just for one season. You can't end one competition in February when you got a World Cup in November and December. It's ridiculous. And normally we know the EFL Cup finishes in February, but just for once, just extend it. There's no harm. So why play the game now? Play it after we come back. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what team Man City play and what team Chelsea play, because both have internationals, both have key players, both have players that won't be going to the World Cup, but both have players that will. I would probably say there's more chance of Man City playing strong players that are not going to the World Cup. I'll give you an example. Haaland is not going to the World Cup. Mahrez is not going to the World Cup. I'm gutted for that one because I have interest in that. Damn it. I hope Cameroon get battered. Anyway, no offense. But there's that. With Chelsea, it seems like everyone's going to the World Cup. Everyone that we normally play is going to the World Cup. The only one that's probably not going is Aubameyang, because Gabon are not going to be there. So it's going to be interesting to see who plays and who doesn't play. With Newcastle coming up, that's a big game. So I feel like Chelsea will be forced to rest. Man City will probably not be that forced to rest, prior to letting all the players go. We'll see what happens. But for Chelsea, it's not a good look. And for the players that are going to be going to the World Cup, you just know, psychologically, these players that are going to the World Cup, they're not going to give 100%. They can't. They're going to keep safe. I think they'll give 100% where they can, where they don't see any danger. But the moment that they see defenders maybe coming onto them, maybe, they don't want to hold the ball on for too long. They don't want to invite challenges. They don't want to, give everything in a challenge. If they lose the ball, it's okay, we'll be okay, we'll win the ball back. Those sort of mannerisms, that way of thinking is probably going to start kicking in for the last couple of games that we're going to see in the Premier League, because I know players want to go to the World Cup, and that's definitely going to be in their minds. They're seeing players drop like flies. 100% all of them are going, I'm not risking it. We'll wait and see what happens. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think that the League Cup should be played, or should it have been moved? And do you share the sentiment that maybe players should be rested at the request of the international managers, or should the clubs just go, no, we're playing them if we want to? Let me know. And Ben Chilwell, let me know your thoughts on Ben Chilwell down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new one. Have a good one, people. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash like button if you've enjoyed this. I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care and peace.